All right, Coach Lee here, coming at you with the force of 1,000 suns. I am both a licensed cycling coach and a certified nutritionist, working with both athletes, taking them to the highest levels that they want to go to here in America. But I'm also the certified nutritionist working with people at large, helping them lose belt loops, if you will, helping them get into shape, things like that. And so, if you need or are looking for any kind of help in terms of cycling coaching or in terms of the nutritional aspects, reach out www.sanstead.com. Today, we're going to talk all things about gene breaks and methylation. And this is an extremely important personal topic with me because everything that we're going to discuss today, I either know athletes or I have been personally involved with in terms of romantic partners or family members that have had this MTHFR gene break. Um, I'll never forget um, when I learned this fact that you know for your body to like this is going to sound ridiculous, but for your body to work correctly, you need certain things. Okay. Back in 2010, I had this really freak accident. So I was in the hospital for 30 days. I had feeding tubes inserted. I ripped a whole bunch of stuff up in my esophagus and my larynx. And uh, I had feeding tubes inserted for 39 days. So feeding tubes, you have this can and you put it in a bag and you raise the bag and that's how you're fed. Uh, One of the problems with that is that you can become quite nutrient deficient. And one day, so I'm out of the hospital. This is a couple months later. Just got off the feeding bags, started eating foods, but I can tell I'm in a complete state of nutrient deficiency. And I'm going up to this great ski resort here in Virginia called Massanutten, and it's going to be a great weekend. It's on Valentine's, and it's going to be a fantastic weekend. I didn't have a care in the world. I was just happy to be alive. And then all of a sudden, on the way up, I am just overcome with anxiety. And I have a panic attack. And so this is my very, I'm I don't know, like 39 at the time. And so for me, this was my very first panic attack my entire life. And I've actually never had one since. And this was such a bizarre experience to me because, maybe the common assumption is that the panic attack is often associated with something in your life, some kind of troubles that are going on in your life, something that, some psychosis that you're not dealing with. But for me, I can 100% say straight up that this was a panic attack that came from a nutrient deficiency. And as the time got away from my surgeries and I was able to, restock, replenish everything, all that, I was able to, basically never to have a panic attack again. And so this was good. But that took me down quite a fascinating journey, that rabbit hole back in 2010, because I didn't realize that there were so many people in the United States that are having these anxiety attacks, that are having these um, panic attacks. And I've always said if I were to ever found a charity or something of that nature, that's what the charity would benefit: people with anxiety or chronic anxiety, because it is crippling, and it is crippling to large swaths of the American population. So basically, what is happening is that my body did not have the nutrients that it needed to function correctly, which is the topic of everything that we're talking about now. Because for the body to work correctly, not only do we need certain nutrients and compounds in our daily diet, but they have to be methylated correctly. So now, what is methylation? So methylation is basically, if I eat an apple, the nutrients in that apple are, they come into the body. They're not used as is. They're every single nutrient in that body is converted to something else that the body can use. But there are many genes that influence how well you can methylate. Um, going there's many of them. Let's just put it that way. And so one of the big boys, one of the ones that's down here at the bottom of all these sort of methylation genes, is called MTHFR. Now, methylation is the process where you take it's just like gasoline for your car. If you take oil from the ground and put it into your car, it's not going to work. If you take oil from the ground, run it through all these refineries, then turn it into gasoline, your car can recognize gasoline. There are different qualities of gasoline, right? And so if your body has a gene break in one of these several methylation genes, then that is extremely problematic, because basically what you're doing is you're taking in these raw materials. Your body is not processing them correctly. So you're not getting the crucial raw materials that your body needs, those crucial nutrients. But then also you're flooding your body with stuff that it cannot use or process, which then leads to other problems, okay? And so the gene that we're talking about today, the big boy, the MTHFR, it's estimated that 46% of the world's population has this gene break. All right, so what is MTHFR? Basically, MTHFR is an enzyme which supports folate metabolism. And so if you have a gene break of some sort, and there can be many different types of gene breaks, you're going to be on some spectrum of your abilities to process folate. If you have a monster gene break, you might only be at 15, 16, 17% of your body's ability to process folate. If you don't have any gene break, then you're at the other end of the spectrum. So what is folate and what does it do? Folate is crucial in so many ways. It supports brain function. Now, if we look at this, this is going to blow your mind. So it serves as a precursor for all of these neurotransmitters: adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, glutamate, endorphins. Now, if your body is so that's what you really have to understand in this process, is that if you have serotonin in your body, it comes from the raw materials that you're putting in. So if you have a serotonin deficiency and you go to the doctor, what does your doctor do? The doctor usually puts you on some, SSRI or something like that, or some kind of prescribed medication. But in reality, what is going on is that your body is not getting the raw materials that it needs to make that serotonin. Folate is crucial. Folate metabolism is crucial as a precursor to all of these neurotransmitters. So now, what is a precursor? One of the ways that I like to explain it is in one of my favorite biometric chains, vitamin D3 to the testosterone biometric chain. So D3 is actually a precursor to a lot of things in your body. But in this biometric chain, D3 is a precursor to DHEA, which is a precursor to testosterone. And so if you're low on D3, chances are going to be very good you're low on DHEA and then low on testosterone. So what I do is I love to look at those biomarkers with athletes and clients that I work with, and I like to restore that biometric chain as much as possible. So what is your D3? All right, we're going to bring that up. What is your DHEA? What is your testosterone? So if you restore that D3, you restore that DHEA, watch what happens to your testosterone. It's pretty fascinating. But the idea is that if you don't have that precursor, then you cannot have optimal functioning in your life. And our how many people are on some kind of antidepressant in America today for various reasons, but for the lack of dopamine in their system, for the lack of serotonin in their system, it's quite big, it's quite large. It supports the brain function, like we just said. It supports, folate metabolism is crucial in red blood cell formation. It's crucial in homocysteine metabolism. Now, here I love this because I've really seen this in that homocysteine is an amino acid that we all have in our system. But what happens is that if your body does not have the raw materials that it needs to remove and process and get rid of the homocysteine in your blood, then it becomes highly inflammatory in the system, and then that is often associated. I've heard numbers, read data that says about 85% of people with hypertension, and they have a normal EKG, their heart healthy, all that great stuff, but they just have this idiopathic hypertension that we can look at your homocysteine, and if you have elevated levels of homocysteine, then yeah, you can actually supplement that. It's a supplement that you can get anywhere called TMG, that you can actually do that and watch your homocysteine lower on your biomarker panel. So the homocysteine and hypertension is really fascinating, and this is all connected to the MTHFR gene. DNA synthesis and repair. This is another one of those crucial things. So every day, your body is breaking down and rebuilding. For athletes who are working out really hard, we throw in that extra stress, extra oxidative stress against everything in your body. And so if your body cannot rebuild back correctly, especially with the DNA over time, this leads to some really bad things like cancer, things like that. Now, what are some of the symptoms? And so, say if you are on the spectrum of function to dysfunction, and you're curious about the MTHFR gene, what kind of things will happen to you? Well, anxiety and panic attacks. And so this is extremely personal to me, and that I've known, family members, people very close to me that have had this daily anxiety going all the way back to their childhood. And, they've had it for so many years that it's just something that they deal with and come to accept, and that people who are around them for long periods of time might not even know. And that's fascinating to me. The anxiety issue is extremely fascinating to me. That really plays to my heartstrings. Neurodevelopment disorders. And so, right, you need, for all those neurotransmitters to work correctly, again, you need these raw materials. If you don't have those raw materials, you're going to have problems. Certain neurodevelopment disorders linked with the MTHFR metabolism are ADHD, ADD, OCD, and it's just because, and I could spend actually a long time on this, and that thought has to be, you need nutrients to create thought, you need nutrients to deconstruct thought, and once all that's interrupted, then you have these thinking issues, neurodevelopmental issues like that we're seeing a lot today. Sleep. Now, this is a fascinating one. And so I've known this personally with several people, particularly romantic partners that I've been with, and that, their sleep is every single night is a struggle. It's something that they actually fear. and causes not anxiety but anxiousness to go to sleep every night because it just turns into a complete circus. People that need just tremendous amounts of white noise, that when they go to, when they approach that bedtime, they could be exhausted, tired, but as soon as they get ready to go to bed, their mind just goes, crazy. They're thinking about everything in the world that they don't need to think about at that time. Work emails, that's a big one. And then the problem is in that they will wake up in the middle of the night and their brain is just on fire once again, thinking about, most likely work emails, some issues in their jobs, some issues in their families. And then if it's, kind of late enough, 3:34, they end up just getting up. But the sleep is actually a fascinating look at the role of neurotransmitters, because if you're having neurotransmitter dysfunction as caused by your body's inability to methylate certain raw materials, or you're just not getting these raw materials, then that's a problem. Gut issues. Again, there's this tremendous gut brain connection, and that if you're having these neurotransmitter problems, it actually affects the gut motility. Now, motility is basically how fast your digestion system processes foods, okay? And so if there's some kind of, gut motility issue, you could experience bloating. You can experience bloating after you eat a meal. You can experience bloating hours after eating a meal. You can experience bloating when you wake up in the morning. All these are instances of this gut motility, and the brain gut connection, and that those neurotransmitters, if they're not firing on full cylinders, your gut is not firing on all four cylinders. And now if you're really on the spectrum of this, then this, typically you'll have gluten intolerance, like massive gluten intolerance. You could develop allergies, celiacs, very interesting and problematic gut issues. Inflammation, right? Your body to repair itself every day, to take itself out of the state of inflammation, it needs certain raw materials, it needs certain nutrients. If you're not getting them, you're going to be in this inflamed state. And again, it's all on a spectrum. And if you're on one end of the spectrum of dysfunction, then, this potentially could, lead to severe inflammation issues, which then could really, lead to autoimmune issues as well. Hypertension is, as I just kind of talked about, the homocysteine and your body's inability to metabolize homocysteine, then this becomes an issue once again as well. Now, what do you do for all this, right? Well, so if you think that you have the MTHFR, gene break, gene mutation, however you want to call it, polymorphism, then there's certain steps that you can do, right? You can get tested. So the MTHFR test is very common. I offer it on Sanstead.com. Other people, it's all over. You can get MTHFR gene mutation, because it is very important to understand if you have this MTHFR methylation issue. Quality food. So for me, it all begins with quality food. You want to get so basically with this methylation issue, that you're bringing in folate, you're bringing in folic acid, which if you read ingredients is all over boxes, things like that. Folic acid is this synthetic form of folate. To me personally, just kind of get that out of your life. No matter if you have this gene mutation or not, just get rid of the folic acid. Try to get, stay as natural as possible in your diet. And so I'm all about food quality, food quality, food quality, food quality. Because, if you're bombarding yourself with this nutrient that your body needs, and you have the MTHFR gene break, then A, you're not getting what you need and you're throwing all this stuff into your body that it cannot process, which causes further problems. Methyl supplements. This is really big. So, you know, there's a great uh, supplement by Thorne. It's called B complex number 12. It's a range of B vitamins. And so the folate, it affects that B range of vitamins. And so if you look at the back of this, everything is methyl. So if you take methylfolate, that actually is the version that your body needs and then can use, right? So you take the methylation process is that you take something like folate, your body through this process turns it into methylfolate. So this is a great supplement. It's got the B12 in there, the methylcobalamin. And so B12 is common in so much. When you go down the B12 rabbit hole in American society, you will be shocked. It is an energy drinks. Everything, emergency packets, right? But it's in a synthetic form of B12 called cyanocobalamin. Me and a lot of people that that I really look up to, we're pretty dead set against the use of cyanocobalamin in your life. Cyano is the cyano and the cyanocobalamin is actually a hydrogen cyanide, and so that causes problems. That cyanide, issue. Many of us believe causes lots of problems. Okay. And so, the methyl, all that great stuff, the methylcobalamin, if you want to have a great quality B12, get rid of cyanocobalamin. And the cyanocobalamin is fascinating. It's in Flintstone vitamins, Centrum, multivitamins that are, all the stuff that you buy at your generic store. It's in the emergency packs. It's in a lot of energy drinks, like the Monster energy drinks. Look at the back, cyanocobalamin. I believe quality is everything, and really supplement with methylcobalamin, methylfolate, get those methyls in there. Now, the biggest thing is, get tested for the MTHFR, but you also want to get biomarker tested. What does your biomarker say? Are you low in B12? What is your folate? Are you low in folate? Again, these are tests that I offer on Sanstead.com. Eliminate cyanocobalamin. Now, this is just an introduction. There's a lot of things. I want to make a part 2 for this in terms of how does folate metabolism directly influence athletes in sport. That'll be a big one, and that'll be a fantastic one because this comes to me as a coach in many different ways, many different things that I think about, many different things that I explore. Not only people in my own life, family, friends, romantic partner, but also, athletes that I work with. I want to dial in really quick to understand them on the biggest physiological level that I can. Metabolism, if you're just a normal human being living life or you are an athlete, metabolism is crucial to all of it, right? It is the bedrock of your life. It's the bedrock of your health. Great metabolism it doesn't guarantee happiness, but it enables you to experience happiness. It enables you to experience joy. It enables you to experience a great night of sleep. So, it's my goal as both a certified nutritionist and a licensed coach to get my athletes as metabolically fit as I can, and my nutritional clients, again, as metabolically fit as I can. It's all about metabolism, and the MTHFR enzyme, if you will, is crucial to that metabolic health that I want to see my clients, my friends, my family everybody that's around me, I want them to be in a state of great metabolic health. Thanks, everybody.